Hello everybody, I'm Skills. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Good Outlaws and Legends. So, played this game a little bit, been getting better with it, and I'm loving this game, and I wanted to bring you guys a complete class breakdown and a deeper look into all the classes, just so you guys can get a better idea of how the classes tick, what makes them work, how they should be played, and what they're all about. As I've played a little bit of each of the classes, so I kind of have somewhat of a feel for them. So I figured I'd let you guys know what I know, and that way everybody can have a good time and everybody can get into the heists, which is what we all want to be doing. So, to start off, we'll head in with Robin, and I will see you guys there. Okay, so we're here with Robin. So, Robin is the ranger. He is a marksman, he has a longbow, and he's very agile. He has a difficulty rating of 2 stars, so he's a medium difficulty character based on what the developers ranked him in terms of how hard he is to play in a match. And depending on your playstyles, that could be true, could be harder, or it could be very easy, depending on how good you are at hitting your long-range shots. So we'll take a deeper look into his character skills here. To start off, he has his ultimate ability. So his ultimate ability is Farsight. Channel the forest's power, draw an ethereal arrow that explodes shortly after impact. So essentially this arrow, huge arrow, it doesn't do a ton of damage normally when you hit somebody, but it will stick into enemies, and it will explode, whether or not it sticks into an enemy or just in the ground, a building, a wall, anything like that. It will explode after a short duration, and it will one-shot anything caught in the vicinity, except for the sheriff, in which case it will only bring him to his knees because you cannot kill the sheriff. Keep in mind, this ability, if you shoot, say, an enemy player, and they run towards your enemy, or towards your teammates, or they even run towards you, and it explodes, and you're caught in the vicinity, it will kill you too. So, you gotta be very careful about when you use this ability, because it does do friendly fire. So there is friendly fire in this game when it comes to abilities, so you gotta be careful of that. Now, his secondary ability is the flashbang. So, with the flashbang, you blind targets for a short duration within a small area of effect using a volatile gunpowder board. So this is like your grenade. Every class has a grenade ability. And with Robin, you have a flashbang, which basically makes the entire screen go white when you're hit by it, making it impossible to see anything, really, which makes it easy to get assassinations on the person for the most part, because a lot of people panic when they get hit by it. Maybe line up a headshot, or just finish them off with some melee, possibly, depending on, what you want to do, if you have teammates around, that sort of thing. Keep in mind, also affected by friendly fire, so you can hit yourself, you can hit your teammates, and same goes for the enemy team. Now, Robin's passive ability, here's trait, is Scout. So, survey the environment and tag targets for a prolonged duration. So, when you tag enemies, NPCs, or players, they will stay tagged for longer. Pretty self-explanatory, but it can be handy in a lot of situations. Now, for his main weapon, his only weapon, he has the longbow. So with an affinity for archery, Robin is precise and potent over long distance. Charge arrows for maximum effectiveness for quick fire within a limited range. So, very important to keep aware of his weaknesses and what he has to do. So we're going to move over to the training range so I can give you guys a brief overview of what he can do. And yeah, and maybe what you should be doing with him. So we'll head over here.
Nice.
And so as you guys can see, if you hold the aim button, you'll hold up your reticle like this. And if you hold the fire button or the light attack button, you'll charge up. And when you guys can see there, when the crosshairs turn slightly yellowish, and they're in as close as they can be, you have a fully charged shot, which will one-shot enemy players and regular guardsmen. It will not one-shot the elite knights or the sheriff, so keep that in mind, but it will one-shot anything else. So keep in mind when it flashes yellow like that, then it is fully charged and ready for go. Without any perks and starting out, you only start with 7 arrows, so you gotta keep in mind to stay stocked. But if your arrow doesn't break, depending on what perks you have, you can pick your arrows up after you use them. So say I shoot, say that's a player right there, you can see the arrow sticking out of him. If I go over and walk over that, I will pick up an arrow unless the arrow breaks. And also when you assassinate a target, you will get an arrow back as well. So that is his long range. He's more of a sniper character, like it says. He's a marksman, so you're going to want to be taking out people from afar with his one-shot arrow capabilities. I hit him in the neck there. There you go, headshot. So, Very, very important to keep in mind. You're not going to want to stay close, because as you guys can see with the melee here, he doesn't have any heavy attacks, it just brings up your aim, so he only has light, and he only has a 2-attack chain. He's got a slash with the bow, and then a kick, and then he's done with his combos. So, not a lot of damage, not really a lot of combos, and because he doesn't have a heavy attack, he actually doesn't have a running heavy attack. Now, instead, he does have a running light attack, which is nice, where he jabs forward with the bow, but like I said, it doesn't do much damage, as you guys can see there. Not a lot of damage at all, so you got to keep that in mind. Melee is a last resort, but you really want to be using his bow for most things. Now, unlike the melee characters, and like Marianne or the Hunter, you have your defense ability. So, as you guys can see in the bottom there, you have blue and you have green. Green is your health, and blue is your stamina. So with your stamina, you hit the dodge button, or the defense button. With Robin, you dodge. Same thing with Marianne. With Tooke and John, it will be a block. Just keep in mind it uses up quite a bit of stamina. And it does have invincibility frames, so dodging is very, very important in this game. You gotta have your timing right. And mostly you're going to be using it to create distance from the enemy and yourself. So keep that in mind. You only have a dodge, no block. Now, going on to his flashbang, which is his secondary ability. If you equip your gear, you have this. As you guys can see, it explodes like that. And it will blind anyone who looks at it. So as you guys can see here, if it'll let us grab another one.
Nice.
You have your arc. You can throw it pretty far if you want, but keep in mind, don't be too close to it or it will blind you. And it looks like that. So keep in mind to look away if it's thrown towards you, but if you're too close to it, it is going to hit you most of the time if you're not careful. So keep that in mind. Now, moving on to its ultimate ability. As you guys can see in the bottom there, we have it fully charged. So if you activate your ability, you glow blue, and then when you aim, you have a blue fire arrow, and when you shoot something, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it will blow up in that radius you see in the circle, and it will completely one-shot anything caught in the vicinity, like I said, except for the sheriff, who it will bring to their knees. So keep that in mind when looking at Robin and using his ability, and keep in mind it will also affect you. Your arrow will hurt you and your teammates if you're not careful. Now, the last part we're going to look at is, for Robin, is we're going to be looking at his perks. So you have a total of 3 perks you can have on any one character. As you guys can see, I've unlocked a couple here. I have. But what I didn't realize is I looked here and I figured, okay, so I have a total of 3 perks that I get for Robin. And I basically, when I unlock them, at like rank 5 and rank 8, I would put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. That's not how it works, actually. I figured out, so you have your perk here, and you got this set of perks for perk 1. Perk 2 has its own separate set of perks. Same with perk 3. They all have their separate set of perks, so you only get 1 perk from each set. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, to go over all of the perks, the set of perks for perk 1. For Robin, you have Reticent Recon. So you gain a bonus experience for killing objective carriers, and capture points are claimed faster, as well as climbing. Climbing is faster as well, but extracting the chest or carrying it is slower. So keep that in mind. You do move at a reduced rate when extracting the chest, but you will capture the capture points and climb ropes and ladders faster. Now, Volatile Gourd is your second choice. Increased gear capacity, which means you can carry more flashbangs. And the inflicted effect is active for longer. It's very nice if you like to use your flashbang a lot. Keep that in mind. And his last ability from the first set is Focused Flight. So long shot kills with standard arrows fill the ability meter quicker based on range. So it's good to keep in mind that if you like to do a lot of long shot kills, if you take this perk, maybe get a lot of long shots on NPCs and fill up your ability really fast, your main ultimate. So keep that in mind. That's the set for the first one. For his second set of perks, he has Scavenger to start with. Performing assassinations on guards and players increases the amount of ammo gained. So when you assassinate somebody, instead of getting like 1 arrow, you're going to get more. His second choice is Bodkin points, which is what I have currently now. Charged arrows have increased speed and range, but will break upon impact. This means that your arrows will no longer be able to be recovered from corpses, but when you have them fully charged, they will go faster and they will have less drop to them, which makes long-range sniping a lot easier. I'd say bodkin points are going to be really helpful for those of us who like to stay really far away from combat and, you know, more of the sniper, more of the marksman, long-range headshots, that sort of thing, as it's going to make you more accurate over long distance. Now, if you are more of a melee-focused Robin, I'm not sure how well this will go, but you have Razor Gauntlets as your third choice for your second perk selection. Now, Razor Gauntlets, Robin's melee attacks deal more damage based on how much ammo you are carrying, and ammo held is reduced if your melee attack hits or is blocked. So this could be really powerful. I haven't yet unlocked it to get to try it out yet. I'm working on playing more and getting more unlocks. This could be really good, or it could be kind of eh. I think it's either going to be one way or the other. It'll be kind of really good or really not. But if you want to have some more melee options, you might consider this perk. Your next one is your Tactical Quiver. Starting ammo and total capacity is increased, but arrows will break upon impact. Another choice if you like to stay away from the combat and stay far away, and you want to have more arrows so you don't have to go refill as much. His last choice for his second perk selection is Broadhead Arrows. So these arrows will not break, and they have increased damage when charged, although weapon accuracy over short range is reduced and quick-fire shots deal less damage. So they will not break, they have increased damage when charged. This might be really good if you're not necessarily as accurate with Robin, possibly, if you want to go more for body shots. Then fully charged arrows and broadheads might be the thing for you, and also they will not break, which means if you shoot a guardsman, you know, fully charge it like you would and headshot them or whatnot, you can get your arrow back pretty much regardless, so that's really nice. Moving on to his third perk selection, you have Forceful Fighter. So melee attacks are more effective and cost less stamina to perform, but starting ammo and total capacity is reduced. So if you want to be more melee focused, maybe take Forceful Fighter, and if you go to your second perk selection, maybe take Razor Gauntlets. Combine the two, and you might be a force to be reckoned with your melee. So your next perk choice for your third perk selection is Elemental Arrow. So your ability arrow, your ethereal arrow, the ultimate ability you have, will explode after a shorter duration. This could be really good if you maybe want to use long distance, or maybe you want to get like a huge team kill if all the enemy team is grouped together. Could be really useful for that. Mercurial Arrow. Ability arrow explodes on impact, but its range is reduced. So this might be really good if you want to take it and have more of a close range defensive ability. So if somehow you get selected off, cut from the pack, and you got a couple enemies coming towards you, and they're trying to, you know, both get you on you at once, and you have your ability arrow up, use that, hit one of them, it will explode, maybe even hit the ground, and you might take yourself out, but probably take them out too. Now, the range is reduced. I'm not entirely sure if that's the range of the arrow or the range of the explosion. When I figure that out, I will do an updated perk and tips and tricks and class overview when I have more unlocks. But this could be really good in tight situations, and so could Elemental Arrow. I mean, they're all really good choices for all different playstyles, so keep in mind that's what you have for your third perk selection. You can only have 3 perks at once, and they do cost gold, as you guys can see here. Like 500 gold per ability for your perks, so keep that in mind. And so yeah, that is going to wrap it up for Robin. So I will see you guys on Marianne. Okay, so we're here with Marianne. So she's the hunter. She's an assassin, she has a crossbow, and she's very versatile. Also rated with a 2-star difficulty rating, which may increase or decrease depending on your playstyle and how you like to play the game. So keep that in mind as we continue on, as we take a look at her abilities and skills. So, her main ability, her ultimate, is Shroud. So you blend into your surroundings, becoming undetectable to guards and almost invisible to players. So, from my experience, you kind of go see-through with players, and other players don't seem to have a hard time tracking you with Shroud on. The real benefit of Shroud is the early game, in my opinion. If you can build it up quickly, or you have a perk, there's a few perks I believe that will let you have to start the game with Shroud active. You can blend into your surroundings and you become undetectable to guards, meaning you can get really fast to the key and really fast to the vault without alerting any guards, which means your team can have a huge head start on getting the chest back to where you want it to get, which is really important. It's one of the most important parts about this game. So that main ability is a really, really good one to consider. It's it's almost enough reason to play Marianne, but she's a fun character to play, and we'll head into her secondary ability with Smoke. So Marianne has a smoke bomb, which covers the target area in a cloud of darkness, which obscures visibility and prevents tagging. More of a PvE thing when you're detected by guards, but it can be useful in PvP to try and get around somebody to assassinate them. But it's really good for PvE when you're trying to get away from guards and stuff like that. Now, her passive ability is Shadow. So she is a blade in the dark and can perform an assassination on state guards, which is the NPCs, from any direction whilst concealed by bushes, smoke, or invisibility, meaning all the other characters have to be behind their opponents to assassinate them. But Marianne can be in front of them, to their sides, doesn't matter. As long as she's not detected, she can assassinate them. This doesn't apply to players. She still has to be behind players to assassinate them, but it's very good against NPCs and can make for really nice stealth plays. Now her main weapon is the crossbow, so adapting to the handcrafted limitations of her weapon, Marianne can fire a single bolt or charge her multi-shot, but effectiveness is reduced over distance. So we'll go over that in the training range. Right here. There we go.
Take back the power.
And so we'll head over here. Alright, so with Marianne, we have her crossbow. So as you guys can see here, we got the reticle, and as you guys can see, there's 3 outlines there around the middle dot. The bottom one is yellow, the other 2 are kind of a grayed out color. Now, the bottom one means she's got 1 ready to fire. So if you're aiming, which is the same as Robin, and you hit fire, boom, you're going to headshot, and it's going to be a nice little arrow. But if you want to increase it, hold the fire button, kind of like Robin, and the longer you hold it, instead of charging a stronger arrow, you charge multiple arrows, which will shoot in 3 shots. So she's going to be more of your medium range, like kind of skirmishing class, medium and stealth. Not really close range because her melee isn't that great.
What I need.
So keep in mind, 3 shots does a lot of damage, so keep it in mind. But you do tear through your arrows really quickly because you can only hold a total of 9 without perks. Now her melee ability, she doesn't have a heavy attack, so it's light attacks again. They're a little bit more manageable and deal a little bit more damage than Robin's because she has a longer attack chain. But still not really a melee focused character. Now she doesn't have a running heavy attack, but she does have a running light attack, which can be really effective. It's really good for chasing down opponents who are running, so keep that in mind. Very nice for that. But Marianne's main focus will be her crossbow, as well as her stealth assassinations, because she's all about stealth and assassinating. That's just who she is. She's the assassin of the group. Now, her ability here,
Useful.
if we equip it like this, as you guys can see, smoke screen can't really see through it, and even when you're in it, it kind of makes it hard to see really anything really around you. So it can be really useful in a lot of situations, so keep that in mind when using that ability. Now, her ultimate ability here, if I activate it, you guys can see, this is how you can kind of see through it. This is what other enemy players are going to see. So it's not too hard to track her, especially good players are going to track you pretty easily. But it makes you completely undetectable basically unless you start attacking enemy guards. So keep that in mind. It basically gives you a free pass to run past all enemy guards and not be seen or heard. So very, very nice. And to end off, we're going to head over here and check out her perks. So, same as Robin, she's got the 3 perks. This applies to all the characters and classes. 3 perks, and each perk has a different selection. So, for your perk 1, you have a lot of selections for her. You have a lot of selections on all of these for her. So, for your first perk selection, to start off, you have Efficient Assassin. Gain increased XP for assassinations. They're quicker to perform, and they refill the ability meter faster. So, really nice, basic ability, but very advantageous to have in many situations. Her second choice would be Fortuitous Fatality. Following an assassination, the next evade will cost no stamina, and this effect will persist through death. Perfect evades also increase melee damage for a short duration. This would be good. So if you assassinate somebody, a lot of people are going to try and come up and do a lot of melee attacks on you, kill you, or be ready to assassinate you as soon as you're out of the animation. So if you have this, you can evade even if you have no stamina after the assassination. You can evade immediately, and it'll be really nice. And this effect will persist through death. So if you assassinate somebody and somebody kills you like immediately afterwards, as long as you don't evade, the next time you might have to evade, it will cost no stamina. So keep that in mind. And her perfect evades, which is when you dodge right before an attack hits you, will increase your melee damage for a short duration. So, if somebody's attacking you, say a John is swinging his hammer at you, you dodge it, and then you have increased melee damage, so it'll be better capable of fighting him off. Really nice. Our next selection is Roving Rogue. Crouched movement speed is increased. Retrieving ammo from the environment is easier and provides additional ammo. Really nice. Kind of basic self-explanatory perk, but it's really nice. Crouch movement speed increase is always good, especially on a stealth assassin-based character who's trying to be crouched a lot more than the others. Shadow Blanket is your next choice, which increases your gear capacity and your gear effect lasts longer, so you can carry more smoke grenades, and the effect will last a lot longer. Our last choice is Quarrel Container. So starting ammo and total capacity is increased. Bolts are fired at a faster rate but will always break, and assassinations are performed slower. So if you are possibly interested in less of the melee and you want to, and less assassinations, you want to stick more with the crossbow, this would be a great perk choice for you. So keep that in mind. Moving on to her second perk and her different selections for perk number 2. To start off, you have Territorial Thief. So, the ability meter is fully filled upon match start. So as I mentioned earlier, a perk that would let you start with Shroud up so you can get past guards quickly and easy. So ability meter is filled upon match start, and capture points are claimed faster. But extracting the chest is slower, so when you're carrying the chest, you're going to move a lot slower. Generally, though, other than emergencies, that task is better left to Tooke or John anyway. So, for the most part, this could be a really nice one to start off. Another selection choice you have for perk 2 is Survivalist. So this is really a good one. Overall health pool is increased, and evading has increased distance and invincibility length at the cost of higher stamina usage, and invincibility is now also active while sliding. So that means you cannot take damage in your middle of your evades, which is the same as Robin's. And I'll showcase that right here. So you have the same dodges as Robin here. So those will go farther, I believe it is. Yes, they go farther, and they have more invincibility length. So basically, you're less likely to get hit while you're dodging. But they do use more stamina. And when you're sliding, which is an ability that all people have, when you're running, you just hold the crouch button and you'll slide. During that whole slide animation, if you have that perk, you're not going to be able to take damage. So that's going to be really helpful because your slides cover a lot of distance quickly, meaning you're going to have a lot of invincibility. Really nice perk. Your third choice is Veiled Menace. Whilst crouching in a bush, deal increased range damage, and the ability meter recharge is faster. So, once again, if you want to use your crossbow more than you do melee or assassinations, this could be a really good one. If you want to stick in the bushes and kind of stay hidden, that you will be able to use your crossbow, better effectiveness, and your ability meter recharge is going to be faster as well. Now your last choice is Phantom Stalker. So, whilst the ability is active, shroud visibility is reduced and crouch movement speed is increased. So, this is really, really nice. Basically, once you activate your ability, you are going to be less visible to enemy players, and your crouch movement speed will be increased. So, if you like to use your main ultimate ability a lot, this is going to be a great perk for you. So keep that in mind. Perk number 3 in the selections to go with it. To start off, you have Silent Slaughter. Whilst the ability is active, so your main ability is Shroud, assassinations will replenish the ability meter and prolong its duration. So if you, like I said, once again, if you like to use, you might combine Silent Slaughter with Phantom Stalker, to where your crouch movement speed is increased and your shroud visibility is reduced. And every time you assassinate somebody, it will prolong its duration. So you could go with Efficient Assassin. You can do different builds. You could go with Efficient Assassin for the quicker assassinations, Phantom Stalker for having your shroud up, and when it is, you are not as visible and your crouch movement speed is increased, and then Silent Slaughter, so that you're constantly, if you're getting assassinations, you constantly have your ultimate ability up and going. Could be a really nice build. Haven't tried it myself yet, but I'll definitely let you guys know if I do in fact give it a try. Secondary choice for your third perk is Refined Frame. Aim move speed is faster, so when you're aiming your crossbow, you'll move faster side to side, strafing. Your weapon accuracy, stability, and damage is improved, but recoil and recovery time between shots is increased. So this is going to make your crossbow more of a longer range usage. You won't be able to shoot as fast, and you'll have more recoil, so you won't be as accurate between shots, but your crossbow bolts are going to be more accurate, and you'll be more accurate in general when you're shooting, and you're going to have higher damage. So if you like to use your crossbow, this is another great perk for you. Now, your last choice for your third perk selection is Elusive Wish. So the overall duration of the ability is increased, and performing ranged or melee attacks will no longer cancel the ability early. So when you have Shroud up, basically anytime you use your crossbow or you do a melee attack, it's going to cancel your ability. But if you have this, you have a longer ability time, and those will not cancel it. So you can have this, and maybe the rest of your build is faced around your crossbow, and you could have this, and then you could be like in a bush shooting people with your crossbow while your ultimate ability is active, so people can't see you as easily. And yeah, it'd be maybe a really powerful build. Don't know yet, I haven't tried it, but if I do, I will let you guys know. As I played more of this game, get more experience, I will show you guys more and more of what I know and what I have learned, so keep that in mind as we continue on. So I believe that covers everything. For Marianne, we went over the crossbow, we went over the melee, and yeah, so that's going to do it for Marianne. So if you guys are interested in seeing John, I will see you guys there. Okay, so we're here with John. So he's the Brawler, the big man, the tank, the hammer. He's very strong, and with a difficulty rating of 1 star, it might be the perfect character, who knows. Depends on your playstyle, and depends on how you like to play the game. That difficulty could be accurate, or it could be worse. It depends. So let's take a deeper look at his skills. So his main ability is Wrath. So you unleash your inner beast, which enhances your offensive and defensive capabilities. Your secondary ability is Bomb. So, very simple. Like the hammer, you kill all targets within proximity of the blast radius following a delayed fuse. So it's very similar to Robin's ultimate ability, but it takes longer to use, gives people ample time to get out of it, but it will kill all targets within proximity other than the sheriff, who it will simply bring to their knees. His passive ability, which is one of the most, in my opinion, it's my favorite passive ability, it's so nice, Resolute. So you can raise the gates, which provides an opening for teammates during lock-in. So basically any gates you see, you can just walk up and pick it up and hold it up for you to get through and your teammates to get through, which is just amazing. That's a really nice ability. Really nice. I use it all the time. And just keep in mind, if you're not careful and you throw the gate up, going through it, and your teammate tries to get through, or maybe you try to get through and the gate comes down, it can kill you. It can smash you, and it's not very fun. So make sure you're careful with that. Other than that, you should be okay. Really nice for opening shortcuts and getting the chest out quicker without having to take secondary routes. You can just go straight where you want to go for the most part. Now, his weapon is the hammer. Robust and custom forged, John's hammer can deliver wide-ranging sweeps or a mighty overhead smash. So,
my hammer is ready.
Oh yeah, so he's the hammer guy. So he's one of the ones I've been playing a lot, and I really do like him. He's really fun to play. And he has a lot going for him. Now, he doesn't have any range, really, as you guys can see. He's got a heavy attack instead, which is awesome. So, to start off, he's got his light attacks, which go into 3 attack chains. He's got his heavy attack, which is just a single overhead smash. Doesn't really chain into anything. and uses up a ton of stamina, so keep that in mind as well. Now, you can chain your light attacks into your heavy, so you can do a heavy, or you can do a light heavy, like that, or you can even do a light heavy. Now, you can't do a heavy into a light. It takes a long time to do, and most of the time you're going to be out of stamina after your heavy attack, so you're not going to really have the ability. But even if you have full stamina, it takes quite a while before you can do a light attack. So keep that in mind. Now, he has both a running attack for light, so keep that in mind. He's got a running light attack, which is an alright attack, but his best attack is his running heavy. So, his running overhead smash, which is just running and then hitting your heavy button, is amazing. It does a ton of damage. It has a great AoE, as you guys can see that white AoE. It stun anybody in that. It does a massive amount of damage. And it has extremely good range. You can even hit people like Marianne, Robin, or even Tooke or another John that are running away from you. So keep that in mind. Really, really nice, really powerful ability. So, moving on to his ultimate ability.
Let my rage
You have
give me
Wrath.
strength.
So basically, this entire time, you have increased health, increased damage, infinite stamina, and you have increased attack speed as well. And you glow blue. For the enemies, you glow red. And the only thing that's really going to kill you is assassinations can still one-shot you. They will one-shot you no matter what. As of now in the game, assassinations they will always one-shot you, regardless. If somebody comes up behind you, you're dead. But another thing is you gotta keep in mind that Marianne and Robin can still do a ton of damage to you if they hit you in the head. Robin can just straight out one-shot you, even with your ability active as John. But the normal body shots will still leave you fine. They will take off some chunks of your health, but you'll be fine. You take so much reduced damage. You can fight multiple people very effectively with your ultimate, as long as you're careful and don't let them get behind you to assassinate you. Now, moving on to his
That'll do nicely.
gear, you have a simple bomb here. We'll use it over here. As you guys can see, it's got a similar radius to Robin's arrow, and it explodes, kills everything in the vicinity. So very simple. It's a very similar ability, except it can't stick in anybody. So as long as your teammates or you don't run into it, you're less likely to have it used against you. But you're probably less likely to get kills with it, but it can still block off areas, maybe throw it at your feet while you're running to give you a little bit of time to escape from the enemies who are chasing you, things like that. All good things to keep in mind. So the next thing we're going to look at, we're going to come over here and we're going to look at our perks for John here. So as you guys can see, I have some perks already. I've been playing quite a bit of John here. So for his first perk selection, Dying Retaliation. So heavy attacks are performed faster when the health is low, and parry inflicts a stronger hit reaction. You gain increased XP for killing enemy players. So, if you like to parry, or if you find your health is low a lot, heavy attacks are going to be faster, parries are better, and you'll just get increased XP for killing enemy players. So if you like to PvP a lot, this might be a good ability for you. Secondary choice is Warcry. While your ability, Wrath, is active, you deal more damage to guards, which are the NPCs, and you have increased damage resistance against the state guard attacks. So, if you want to focus more on the PvE, killing the guards and all that, this will probably be the ability for you. I don't see myself using this ability I don't see myself using it in the future very often, if at all, but it's still there in case you want to use it. Now, the third choice is Surging Smash. So sprint attacks deal increased damage in all scenarios, but cost more stamina to perform when the ability is not active. So, basically what this means is sprint attacks will deal increased damage, no matter what, but they will cost more stamina to perform across the board, because I kind of got confused when I first read this. Is like, does it have, like, your running attack, does that have an ability cooldown? No. What this means is, when you have Wrath active, you have infinite stamina, so that means that stamina cannot drain. So what this means is, it just costs more stamina, but it doesn't cost you any stamina when you have the ability active, because you have infinite stamina. So basically all this means, all you have to look at, is sprint attacks deal increased damage in all scenarios, but cost more stamina. That's it. Yeah, that's all you have to look at. Charging assault upon ability activation, sprint speed is increased and the overall duration is longer. So this could be a really nice one if you like to use your ultimate ability a lot, which I do. Very strong. You'll be able to sprint faster, which means your sprinting running attacks are going to be coming out more often and are going to have better range. And the overall duration of your ability is longer, which is always nice. So really nice. Secondary ability, Stable Tank, which is one I've been using a lot and I love it. Stable Tank. Increased overall health pool. So straight up, right off the bat, you have more health. Awesome. Can't go wrong with that. And whilst blocking, incoming attacks deplete less stamina. So whenever you block an attack, which I will showcase here, you hold down the space bar for PC, you'll hold your hammer up, and you'll block. And as you guys can see in the bottom left there, when you first activate block, it takes a small chunk of your stamina, and then as you hold it, it slowly depletes it. Anytime somebody attacks you, it depletes a lot faster, chunks get taken out. So with this ability, attacks are not going to deplete it as fast. So your secondary choice for your first or your second perk selection is Sticky Explosive. So gear can be thrown further and stick to surfaces. So this makes your grenade, you can throw it farther and it can stick to things. I'm not sure if it can stick to NPCs or enemy players. I'm assuming it probably can, which means it'll be a lot like Robin's ultimate ability, which is really cool. So that could be a really nice ability if you like the grenade. His third choice is Amplified Explosives. So this increases your gear capacity, meaning you can carry more bombs, and it will increase their damage radius. It's always nice, just a straight up upgrade if you like your grenades. Cargo Carrier. This is a nice one, but it has some downsides. Carrying the chest is faster, but emits more noise, which is... it's debatable on how useful, or like, you know, bad that is. Carrying the chest is faster, it's always nice. The emits more noise, I'm not sure how much more noise, so I don't really know. And I don't know if that'll affect NPCs noticing you more, or if that will just be like enemy players hearing you. But additional gold is spilled when the chest is dropped, so anytime you... I thought this applied only to when you are carrying a chest, you drop off a large height, and your character falls, you drop the chest, and you can pick it back up, and you keep going. No, this applies, apparently, every time you drop the chest, gold just drops out of it. So every time you put the chest down, you are punished. So this will mean that as a cargo carrier, you're never going to want to drop the chest unless you have to. It also means that rapid winching the chest is faster, but capture points are claimed at a slower rate. So this is a great ability if you want to be getting the chest, and you want to rapid winch the chest faster. But you got to make sure you don't drop the chest as much as possible. Now this could be a good ability if you want to have, say, if there's another John on the team, say there's a Tooke on the team, something like that. They could carry the chest, and you could take this perk simply for the rapid winching of the chest being faster. Keep that in mind. Might be a good idea. Now for his third perk, and the selections that go along with it, you have Enraged Infusion to start off with. Light attacks deal more damage, always nice. But assassinating players or guards fill the ability meter slower, so that's kind of a trade-off. Your next choice is Relentless Strength. Ability meter fills when an enemy projectile, so an arrow, deals damage to you. So you gain additional ability meter when you parry an enemy projectile, but no ability meter is gained for blocking projectiles. That's kind of a trade-off there. I don't really see myself using this ability very often, but maybe it'll have its uses. Rampaging Onslaught is your last choice, in which more ability meter is gained for killing and assassinating enemy players than guards. So, whenever you kill or assassinate an enemy player, you're going to have more ability gain than you will from the guards, and the ability meter resets upon death, so that's tough. If you are really good at surviving and staying alive, this might be a really good perk for you, but if you tend to die a lot, or anything like that, this might not be the one, because if you die constantly, you're not going to have your ability ever, so this one's kind of a really huge trade-off, in my opinion, kind of a glass cannon type thing. So it's all personal preference, you got to keep that in mind, and just kind of go with what you like. I'll probably stick with Enraged Infusion for my last perk slot out of these three, but I might give this one a try, depending on the situation. So that's going to cover it for the abilities and a bit of a showcase of John. So I will see you guys over for Tooke. Alright, so we're here with Tooke, the Mystic, the Monk, the support class, who has a flail, and his main thing is Vitality. So he has a difficulty rating of 3 stars, and this could go down, or it could be accurate depending on your playstyle and how you play him. So we'll jump into his skills. So his main ability is Instinct. So you embody the environment, highlight obscured enemies for teammates, and heal those within close range. So basically, anybody close by when you activate this ability is going to be highlighted, and basically you have wall hacks on them. You can see they're outlined through walls, which is really, really nice for when you're in buildings or tight corners, anything like that, so that nobody gets the drop on you, and you can be a bit more stealthy. So really nice to keep in mind. But one of the big things that is really nice about this ability is it also heals those within close range. So it will heal you as well as any teammates in the vicinity, and it will fully heal you. You can be 1 HP and you can still be fully up to full health if you activate this ability. So that's really strong. This character is a really support-oriented class, and if you like that kind of playstyle, Tooke is a great character for that. Now his secondary ability is a gas grenade. So, disperse enemies with a long-lasting elixir, which drains stamina and impairs the vision of those affected. So essentially you throw it, it's a gas cloud similar to Marianne's smoke grenade, except this will drain stamina and also blur the screen slightly to people in it, and it also glows green. Now his passive ability is Respire. So enhanced respiratory conditioning allows stamina to regenerate at a faster rate, so he has the best stamina in the game currently. He has the same stamina as everybody else, but it comes back when it is recharging very, very fast. So if you're being careful, you'll never really have a stamina issue for the most part. Now his main weapon is the flail, so you swing the flail to create space, or launch it forward to perform a powerful impact, stunning enemies for a short duration to create openings for others.
Justice shall prevail.
So, nice character, really well made, animations are pretty good. No real range to him. He does have some ranged attacks, in terms of his melee has some decent range and it's heavy, but his light attacks are pretty close range. But his light attacks have a 3-attack chain, as you guys can see. So 3-attack chain, but you also have a heavy attack, which is a long range. Basically, you just throw the flail out. It does a lot of damage, but it also takes away a lot of your stamina. So you got to keep that in mind. You can do chain combos with it, just like John. You can do one and then heavy. Or you could even do light, light, heavy. Keep in mind, you might have to buffer the heavy attack. Basically, put the input in as your light attack is going through, just to make sure that it comes through properly. So keep that in mind, as it doesn't always come through the way you might want it to. But, very nice attacks, and whenever you do the heavy attack, it does have some decent range. It does quite a bit of damage, and it will stun NPCs as well as enemy players for a small, short duration, which can help your teammates get attacks in and finish them off. Say a Robin maybe get headshot, or a John get closer and get an overhead smash. Now his grenade here, as you can see, green smoke, it just drains the stamina, doesn't do any damage, but it will also make it harder to see. Like, as you guys can see, it's harder to see past through it, but if you're in it, it will also blur your vision, so keep that in mind.
This is interesting.
Now his ultimate ability, as you guys can see here,
Scales fall from my eyes.
glows. A very, very short duration, but it stays on for a while, where you can see things through walls. Can't really showcase it here. But in that short radius around you, it will fully heal anybody caught in the vicinity. It will not heal the enemy team, but it will heal your, as far as I know, but it will heal your teammates fully. From 1 health to full health, that's where it'll be. So it's a really strong support ability. And to move on, we're going to head into the perks of Tooke. So, to start off with your first perk, you have a decent selection here. So you start off, you have Unwavering Faith. You gain additional XP for tagging or highlighting enemy targets, and the passive ability recharge time is reduced. So, your passive ability, which is going to be your main, like, stealth ability, or not your stealth ability, your main ultimate ability, where you touch the ground, you heal everybody, that's going to recharge at a faster rate without doing anything, just passively it will recharge faster. And you get additional XP for tagging enemy targets. Your second choice is Pastoral Aid, no longer affected by the negative effects of your own gas. So that's a upgrade already. Rapid winching the chest is faster, huge upgrade. But capture points are claimed at a slower rate. So if you like to if you are, you want to winch the chest fast, this might be a great one. And you also don't get affected by your gas. So it could be really strong in certain situations if you gas the winching area and then you start winching the chest. Could be really nice. Your third choice is Deep Rooted, which your ability discovers targets from farther away and lasts for longer, which could be really nice if you like to use your ultimate ability to see people through walls. And your last choice is Innate Insight. The ability meter is fully filled upon the match start, and whilst active, reveals enemy players who are crouching. So, really nice. Could be really, really powerful and really useful. Your secondary perk choice will be between Roaming Monk, which has increased movement speed whilst crouching and sprinting. This also affects teammates while remaining in proximity of them. This is really nice. Enhanced Elixir. So every class has this ability basically, in which case you have increased gear capacity and your gas is active for longer. Your next choice would be Suffocating Bomb, in which gas drains enemy stamina quicker. So straight up upgrade your gas grenade if that's your thing. And then you have Medicinal Potion. Gas no longer drains stamina, but heals teammates instead. So this could be really nice if you want to be more of a support character and helping your team out. Could be really nice. Now for your third perks, you have your three choices here. So Sustained Growth. Light and sprint attacks are more effective and deal additional damage, but have an increased stamina cost. So keep in mind they do more damage, and they're more likely to hit people, but they do cost more stamina. So depending on what you like, that might be it. If you're good at managing your stamina, take that ability. Harrowed Scar. Deal increased melee damage whilst your health is full. So if you can remain at full health, or maybe you get the drop on somebody, you're going to do more melee damage, which is always nice. And then the ability I'm probably going to use whenever I play Tooke a lot is Vampiric Bludgeon. So a percentage of melee attack damage dealt to each individual enemy is absorbed and converted to health. I think this will be a really strong ability. Really excited to unlock it and test it out for myself. Sounds very interesting, sounds very powerful, so I'm very excited for this ability. But that covers all the perks. I also will mention he has a block as well. And he also has both he does not have a running light attack, but he does have a running heavy attack, which is a really nice fast attack with good range, and does decent damage as well. So keep that in mind as well. But that is going to do it for the different classes and the more of a deeper look into them, deeper delve into what makes them tick and what they are all about. Now we're going to move on into some different tips and tricks for you guys. Just a few things that might help you out in case you're struggling at all. Okay, so we're here with the tips and tricks section of this video. So keep in mind, one of the biggest things is these bosses are so important. As a melee character or as a ranged character, these are super important. These are your gears with the different little grenades in it. You gotta learn these positions on the map, where these are at on each of the maps, so that you know. And these, if you're a ranged character, so Marianne or Robin, you want to know where these are as well. You want to know where both are as a ranged character, but you only need to know where these are as a melee character. So keep that in mind. That is one tip. Another tip that I see people not doing is, well, not that. As you guys can see here, you need your light attacks and whatnot, and your character will kind of gravitate towards one of the enemies. But if you really want to be accurate about it, and you want to be able to parry, which is another tip I'll go into, you want to lock on. So when you lock on with your lock on key, you'll have a little yellow cursor in the middle of their torso, waist area, and then your character will go into a bit of a different animation, and when you walk around, you'll kind of face and circle your target, which means you're going to be more likely to come after them. Now, when you do hit them, when you do start attacking, it is going to drop your lock on, so keep that in mind. That'll give you more flexibility in combat, but you want to keep the lock on to kind of see where they're at so they can't strafe around you as easily, and in order to parry. So I can't showcase it here, but whenever something is about to attack you, if you hit your block key right before they attack you, it will parry them, which will stun them for a duration. If you have the one perk for John that makes your parries stronger, they'll be stunned for longer. But they're stunned so that you can get a nice heavy attack on them. So parry somebody and give them a hammer attack, but it's dying retaliation, in which parry inflicts a stronger hit reaction, meaning they'll be stunned for longer. So somebody's going to swing at you, parry, and then do a big heavy hammer smash possibly, or maybe a light attack and a heavy hammer smash. So keep that in mind. You can parry with both Tooke and with John. And not only that, you can also parry projectiles. So right before a projectile, such as Robin's arrow, Marianne's bolts, or a arrow or a bolt from an NPC guardsman, right before they hit you, if you block, you can parry those as well. So keep that in mind. Very important. And keep in mind to manage your stamina while you're blocking, because anytime you block, whether it is a projectile or a melee attack, it will consume large chunks of your stamina bar. So keep that in mind. Now another tip to move on, you have this main area here with, you have your ranged, and then you got a little bit of melee section, but if you want to continue, you actually have some decent obstacle courses. So you can come through here. If you take a ranged character, you can climb the rope. So if you want to play Marianne or Robin, if you come through here, you can drop this rope. And you can come through here. This actually has a decent obstacle course. A ladder, and then you've got an enemy here. You got another enemy here. And then you can keep going. Another enemy. A slide area. Another enemy. So this will kind of give you some basics on movement. Kind of teach you how to get used to attacking quickly while you're going on the run. Maybe get used to using some of your sprinting attacks. We'll let some stamina recharge here. And let you kind of get used to the movement of your character, as well as the jumping attacks. If you're playing a melee character, you can get a feel for their range and all that kind of stuff. And once you follow it all the way through, you'll come right back here next to the melee. So you could go the other way if you choose. If you're playing a melee character, you go the other way. If you're playing a ranged character, you go that way, because the rope's there. With a melee character, you can drop it from above, but you can't shoot it to get it down, as you can with a ranged character if you go that way. I had already knocked it down playing as Robin earlier, so keep that in mind. So yeah, that is going to wrap up the video, guys. So I guys hope you guys did like the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it did help you. And if it did, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe give the video a like, and if you're new to the channel, possibly consider subscribing, as it does help the channel out. And lets me know I'm putting out content you guys like to see. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in one of my other videos.